Today we have got a very senior minister from national government and who is probably most in demand. Our community has been wanting to hear from him directly. We have got Immigration Minister Mr. Michael Woodhouse. Should Indian international students worry or live in fear with the new changes introduced?
Look, I don't think so. International education has been a really, really important part of our growing economy over the last 4 years, and I think that's going to continue. I do think there is a deliberate strategy by the providers and the government to move from quantity to the numbers of students into quality, higher quality education. And I think that will help international students who might have an aspiration of a pathway to residence. But it isn't going to be possible for all of the graduates coming out of sub-degree programs at the moment to be able to get that pathway to residence, and I think we need to be honest with them about that.
So the community's concern is then why we are not regulating the sub-degree courses and why students are being targeted?
Well, I think that's a question better asked of NZQA and the Minister for Tertiary Education, but I know that they are. There are a number of providers who are offering those sub-degree programs that are of concern. Some of them have closed, and then Immigration New Zealand work with the affected students to make sure that they're able to transition over to other courses. That's a stressful process, I grant you, but the important thing is to make sure that New Zealand's reputation as a very high quality international provider of education is maintained, and I think that's what we're doing.
The issue about the students is that they have taken their journey believing on those what we call as now sub-degree courses, that they will lead to pathway to residency.
Well, if that's an expectation that they have, it's not one that I believe has been set by the New Zealand government. And for some that they have had that, but with the overwhelming demand for residency in the skilled migrant category, it's been necessary to lift the bar. So the number of points required and now the remuneration threshold that's being consulted on could be a barrier to some of them. I accept that could affect those who are already here, but I do believe it's also important that they get better advice before they come to New Zealand about what the likelihood of a pathway to residence is. Because even under current settings, 4 in 5 of them are not gaining residence.
And what we hear from you today was that there are jobs outside Auckland. So does it mean that those students who are worried, they can actually move out of Auckland and get those jobs, probably get paid around 49K?
Well, certainly what I know is that for those people who are getting skilled migrant residence, the average salary of those applicants is higher out of Auckland than it is in Auckland. So it's a bit of a myth to say that Auckland salaries for those applicants are higher. The other thing is we incentivise the search for skilled work outside of Auckland by offering more points to those people who are successful in obtaining jobs out of Auckland. So there's plenty of incentive for those applicants to look elsewhere.
You said that you are consulting about the parent visa. That is another area that our community is concerned actually. So should we expect any good news coming soon?
Well, unlikely in respect of numbers. So whereas previously there were 5,500 parent category resident visas issued every year, that's reduced down to 2,000. And because we've had a lot of applications in the pipeline, it's been necessary to suspend it for a year or so. When it reopens, I think the expectations for sponsorship by the children will be higher. And I'm also consulting on whether or not the temporary settings for parents could be adjusted to make it a bit more parent-friendly. That work's underway and we might have more to say about that later in the year.